Hi there everyone, welcome aboard the Bush Tracker. Aidan and I are quite excited because finally, after weeks and weeks of waiting for the RAM wiring issue to be rectified, we can actually get on the road with the Bush Tracker really for its inaugural trip. We've only had the one trip in it back from Queensland, so really for us it's a total blank canvas. Isn't it, Aidan?
Yes, but we have been busy.
Now, many of you who are caravanners would know that one of the things we have to be really mindful of with the caravan is weights. And what I've seen in my several years of travelling with caravans is people just tend to overpack, like they're trying to put their whole home into their house. Sorry.
Their whole house into their caravan.
Their whole house into their caravan is what I was trying to say, which I totally get. If you're on the road and it's your home, you want all the comforts of home as well. But what I've found is less is best, and it really makes things far less complicated when you're in the van and there's a couple of you and you're trying to get to stuff and work out what you need. So I would actually recommend that you regularly, if you are pulling up in one spot and you've got a little bit of time somewhere and you've been in the van if you haven't had a good clear out of your van for maybe 3 months at a time, it's really a good idea to just go through, work out what you haven't been using and turf it. Get rid of it, donate it to the op shops, give it away to friends, whatever you need to do. Some people, when they start out in their vans, you can do this in reverse order, but they'll actually put like a little dot on something that you're using, and then, well, they put a dot on it, a sticky dot, and then in 3 months' time you can look and see whether that item has been used if you've peeled the dot off or not. That's a little trick that you could use if you're not sure what you need. So really for us,
that won't work on our map where we're putting dots on.
It won't work on the map. Anyway, let's get started. It's totally blank canvas, this Bush Tracker. We literally have very little in it at the moment, and that's the way we would like to keep it. Look, I'm in all for prettying up your van and making it feel like home, but perhaps not so much this first trip, but in coming trips we're going to be hitting some pretty tough roads, and I don't fancy everything bouncing around all the van. If you're crossing borders and things like that, you can't take plants, blah blah blah, so it's probably going to look pretty bland, but we'll see how we go with that as we go. I'm a big advocate for, if you need something in the van, stop at the op shop and get it. I'll give you an example. We stopped at an op shop and I found these really cool mugs. Well, I really like them. 50 cents or $1 each, I think they were. And this is the sort of thing that we'll stock in the van, because if we're on a dirt road and it gets broken, well, you know,
it's
not grandma's porcelain, it's broken. We're done with it. So don't forget your op shops if you're out in the road and you need to replace something, or give something away if you're getting rid of it. But anyway, yes. Couple of weeks ago, I think now, Aidan put up this Australia map. We bought it from Dave's Decals, or Dave's Decals as I like to say. And we have got one dot on it at the moment, and what we decided was, if Aidan and I were to put dots on this map for all the places that we've been separately, you wouldn't be able to see much left of the map. So what we've decided is this is our van map. So wherever this Bush Tracker goes, we'll start applying the little dots. But, you know, Dave, I need to wear my glasses, and also I need tweezers for the dots.
And we probably need more dots.
Dave, we definitely need more dots. So yes, we've got that up ready to go. And then what we were doing was throwing everything this week into a basket to start bringing stuff into the van that we didn't already have here. And I just have got an assortment of things here that some of you may or may not wish to use in your van, or if you're like in a van lifer and you're in a van, you know, not a caravan. There's a few things here that, you know, we like to have with us. So I know it looks like an odd selection, but I thought I'll just show you as I'm putting them in. So a fellow YouTuber who we recently met, Nana on the Road, a lot of you, if you've been following our vantasticaus page, would know her as well. Thanks, Nana on the Road, for the recommendation for these silicone containers for the freezer. I think they're only a few dollars from Coles each.
$5.50 for the Coles ones.
Yeah, and they stack beautifully for your freezer. And Aidan and I have quite different preferences on what we like to eat at times. So for me, they're ideal for me to whip up, have a curry in there with some rice, and it's just like having my own little takeaway meal. But they also will sit beautifully in the freezer. So
250 mils in each.
Yeah, and we've got
square.
the same with the ice cubes that's got
Yes.
a lid on it. So thank you, Nana on the Road, for that recommendation. We've got those, which leads me to a recent buy which I've got, which I'm really excited about. So forget about putting spice in your life. How about putting some rice in your life? I absolutely love rice. Aidan, not so much. And I've been thinking about what to do about that, because I've been buying those rice cups on the road. I hate all the packaging. And you have to heat them up in the microwave or whatever anyway, so you need to have power. You know, they've got the cardboard on them, they've got the plastic, and then what do you do with that? But I've had trouble finding a rice cooker that was okay for one person or two. Anyway, Googling, actually saw a nutritionist talking about how you can freeze rice quite safely. And
Yeah, because it's not good to keep rice.
yeah, because you
normally.
shouldn't keep rice for a long period of time in your fridge, or even, what did she call it? They call it fried rice gastro or something. It can accumulate bacteria quite quickly. Anyhow, Aidan is a master researcher, and he said, I think I found the rice cooker for you. And he found this little baby on Amazon, because we get loads of stuff from Amazon, because we're out in the bush and don't have the big shops here.
And it's a good price.
And it was a good price. And also, just before I show you this stuff, guys, I just want to remind you, we are not affiliated with anyone. We don't get any kickbacks from anyone for anything. We don't want to operate that way. It's just not what we're about. So anything we show you, we've bought. And we just like showing you the stuff that you might actually find handy in your own rigs. So this little rice cooker is actually, oh my God, it's so adorable. It's just like for one person, for 1 or 2 cups of rice. You could definitely do enough for 2. I tried it out yesterday just to make sure it all worked and everything before I showed it to you, and that we were happy with it. It was amazing. The rice was great. So that, as you can see, doesn't take up a lot of room in one of your cupboards, and it's not very heavy. Now, I know some of you will go, oh, for God's sake, just boil rice on the stove, do this, do that. It's whatever works for whatever people, isn't it? And for me, I just like to shove the rice in there. If we are somewhere with power, I will actually do a couple of cook-ups in it and then freeze it into those silicone containers. And also you can do oats and all sorts of things in there. Obviously, I don't do that, being a celiac, but there are other things you can do in it, steam your veggies or whatever. So that's a little cutie that we got hold of. And as you can see, I've put it there next to our kettle so that you can see that it's actually not very big. The kettle, I know we've shown you before, but I'm just reminding people that's a cool little one. I think it's
A litre?
It's a litre kettle, so it doesn't take up much space. For us, it sits beautifully here on the cabinet underneath the television, so we can still pull the TV out and everything. And obviously, you're just putting the water in it that you want to.
Because your standard size kettles are about 1.7
Yeah, they're
litres,
1.7.
and they were just too high that they'd hit the TV.
Yeah, and it's generally only me that has the boiled water. So that's a great little one. So all of these things, we'll put some links, if we can find them, in the description for you, so you can go and have a look. By all means, research them wherever you want to buy them, but we will pop the links in there so you know what you're looking for. This, I just happen to have out. Who doesn't want to talk about dunny paper? This is the cheap and nasty dunny paper that you get from the supermarket. I think it's $1. Actually, it's not even $1 a roll, is it?
$1.75.
Oh, what? It's gone up. Anyhow, I'm not going to get into the whole discussion of number 2s, 1s and 2s in your van. You either do or you don't. Some people don't give a shit. But us at the moment in our van, it's generally about the number 1s. So I can probably tell you where most of the public toilets are in most of Australia, the good ones, because I'm just not a person that wants to go and empty my own shit at the dump point, let alone someone else's. Aiden's like, oh, I'm happy to do it. I can do it. And maybe we'll get to that point. But at the moment, we don't really know until we get on the road. So it's a contentious issue, I guess, for some. Not one that we need to discuss here at any length. But anyway, the reason for showing you this is we have a, not Dometic, what's the toilet? Tetford chemical toilet at the moment. We did toy with getting a compost toilet, which we may still do at some stage, but because the Bush Tracker was a show model, they'd already put the Tetford chemical toilet in it. So we're running with that at the moment, aren't we?
Yep. To
see how we feel. I mean, as we said, we haven't even got the rig out on the road properly yet and used it. So point is, this cheap and nasty toilet paper from the supermarket.
Not too nasty.
No, it's not too bad. You probably just, depends what you're using it for, but, you probably need to use more of it than your quilt on, but it dissolves really well in your chemical toilet. I know they'll say buy the Tetford toilet paper and all of that, and I know you can do that if you want to pay more. So this one actually dissolves really well before you go to the dump point. So that's why I had that out to show you. Dettol, we always have cleaning wipes on board. They are your best friend when you're trying to save water. So if you are free camping, which we will be doing as much free camping as we can, and you're trying to save water, these are fantastic, as are baby wipes, of course. Don't do what I once did. Aidan and I were in Queensland, and we're actually in the tailgate camper. Sorry, this is turning into story time now. And we were at Nindagully pub. Right, I'm sure many of you know, iconic pub that everyone says go visit. We did that. It was quite warm, and there was actually quite a lot of people camping, and it was a bit of a dust bowl when we were there. And I went out for my last night's wee, and there was a few bushes around. Anyway, it was pretty dark when we went out from the camper, and I grabbed a wipe. Yeah, and so we got outside, and Aidan had a head torch on, and I said something to Aidan, and he swung around, and I kid you not, he lit up my ass like it was a second full moon for the evening, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Aidan? And then, to make things way better for the night, after everyone had caught a flash of my ass in the night, was I did my little twinkle and did a wipe, and I thought, oh, that feels a bit different. Next minute, burning from hell. I had grabbed, you guessed it, a Dettol wipe instead of a baby wipe to go into my plastic garbage bin. So we always have a bit of a laugh about that. So if you are going to have these aboard, make sure you're using them for the right thing. That's that one. This one, actually I already had someone, I've been popping these things on my story, on my Instagram story, as I've kind of been loading. And someone's already messaged me about this one because obviously she hadn't seen it. These are the refillable oil spray bottles. Actually, we've got one inside with oil in it, but I just left this one to show you. They are great for your olive oil or any of your cooking oils that you want to spray. It's got a really great tight lid, and it just means you're not toying around with full bottles of oil in your van or in your rig. And it saves you buying the aerosol cans as well if you need that. So really good.
Far better.
Yeah, we've found it far better. You can use them for salad dressings, lighter oils for if you want to put on your as a dressing, and great for if you want to just spray some oil in the bottom of your pans. Because we've got the induction cook plates, we've had to have quite heavy pans as well, and it's just great to have a bit of a coating of the oil on them. So that's that one, and we have one of these in the tailgate camper for when we go, if there's a barbecue or something that we want to use. It's just, they're invaluable. And we've got one inside the house. But Woolies had these on special this week, hence we got one for the van. Yeah, it was Woolies that had it.
We do have an Amazon link. I think they were $5.50 or something.
Yeah. And then we don't want to just bore you like senseless with all this stuff, but I forget that some people, we all start out vanning somewhere, somewhere, sometime, and it's all new to us. And to be honest, I feel like it's a little bit new at the moment as well, because we've been in the tailgate camper a lot. Before Aidan and I got together, I was off doing my solo thing. He was off doing, Aidan was living in Queensland, and you kind of get out of the habits of caravan living. So then we went and picked up the van. We were gung-ho excited, weren't we, Aidan?
Yep.
And then we got back, tried to go on a trip, and everything went to shit with the RAM and the lighting issue and all of that. So it is like a blank canvas. It is all new again, and that's certainly how it feels. And we are a bit nervously excited to be heading out on the road. So the other thing that I wanted to show you, now I have a few pairs of these now, is these. Yes, they look pretty, don't they? These are earplugs. So they're actually loop earplugs, and I have recommended these to a lot of people. So it's loop earplugs, and
they're the quiet ones.
Yeah, these are for sleeping. You can get different levels of clarity with the sound deafening. Now, Aidan can sleep anywhere, anytime. 10 seconds after his head hits the pillow, he's out to town. Me, laying there, hearing everything. And actually, I even wore these when I was solo swagging, because I just found I would hear everything and I couldn't get comfortable, because I'd be like, what's that noise? It was never another person. It was always like a roo or something. And I found that having earplugs always helped me sleep. So these are really awesome. They come with, if you've got big ear holes, they've got different sizes that you just fit to the plug. And honestly, they're just invaluable. They're so comfortable, because I was finding I was wearing the foam ones. So this is how they work. They actually sit. You can sit them flat to your ear. And actually, everyone probably wears them a different way, but you can sit them flat to your ear like that. And so then when you're laying on your pillow or whatever you're doing, they're nice and flat. And then actually, you have to twist them to get them out, because otherwise you're going to suck your eardrum out. May have kind of done that when I first got them. So I just thought I'd show you those while I had them out, ready to pop them in the van. What, Aidan? What'd you say? What? Sometimes Aidan talks to me in the morning. Nothing. He's getting nothing. It's because I've still got the earplugs in. My God, now we just sound like old people. So anyway, that's a few bits and pieces. And
what about some of our little baskets?
Yes, let's get into that. So yeah, we're quite an organised couple. I like order around me. I just feel that I'm much more relaxed in that type of environment, and fortunately when I met Aidan, he's the same. So I guess that's a good thing. And we just do like to be organised and know where things are. So for many of you, if you're just starting out in van life, you don't always realise when you first start out, it really pays to have all your stuff in the van in baskets, in your cupboards or in your drawers. They can be those soft baskets, they can be, whatever baskets you want, but what it does is it prevents everything from falling out every time you stop if you've been on some rough roads. So we've been looking for the ideal baskets for the bush tracker. And of course you have to do some measuring and work out what's going to work for you. But we found these at Kmart, the clear ones. And we're absolutely loving that because it means obviously whatever we've got inside of there we can actually see, which makes a lot of sense.
Or if we have nothing in there, the stuff in the next basket doesn't slide around.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So we've also fitted them to the pantry. Obviously we haven't packed yet. We haven't packed our food and things yet. But, you know, yes, they take up a bit of room, but it does stop everything from sliding around. It helps if anything spills, you know, you're just pulling out the basket to mop up your spills or whatever. So we've put those, we actually got a variety of sizes to go into the different cabinets, and Kmart actually had a really good selection of the different sizes. Where
we ended up buying a few when we were in Kmart.
Oh, let me turn that around, love, so we can see you.
Well, we ended up buying a few when we were in Kmart just to see if they'd fit. Mm-hmm. And then when we came home, they fitted, they worked out. Then we actually ordered a whole pile of them online.
Yeah.
And they all came in one box.
Yes. Yeah, with that.
Nice and easy.
Yeah. And Aidan came out here fossicking around yesterday, didn't you?
Yes.
Putting them in. So we've got this slide out pantry, which once again, as I said, we haven't packed yet. So I'm not sure that these will stay here. But the other, well, I think these are kind of a must-have in your van, or we use these in the tailgate camper and all of that, is these Sistema containers. They stack so well, you know, and there's lots of different sizes available. And I have had beetroot in one of these babies, and not a drop gets out of them. So I won't ever use anything different now. I know you can get cheaper alternatives, could possibly be the same one rebranded, but I just stick with the Sistemas. So they're all in there. And if I give that back to you, Aidan, we've got them in the fridge as well. So I've had a few mishaps in my various vans with the fridges, and I always have the stuff now in the baskets, once again because it stops everything from moving around and you're playing fridge Tetris where you're trying to pack everything in. It's great if you've got all your sauces and your jams and things like that. We'll put in here. We'll actually pull that out, take it to the table or wherever we're cooking outside. And that works really well. And I just can't tell you how excited I am about the clear ones. Because
you do lose a little bit of space because of them, but it makes up because when you do have a half empty fridge, you still don't have stuff sliding around. That's
right. And with only the two of us, I understand it's completely different again. If you've got kids, you know, in your van, I've travelled with kids in a van and I know how different that can be, actually looking for room. But with the two of us, it seems to work really well. So there you have it, folks. That's some of our bits and pieces that are going into the van, ready for our departure in a few days' time. Fingers crossed.
We do have our chopping board and draining board in there already.
Yep. So always I carry this is a glass cleaning cloth, and that works really well on these matte cabinets. And actually, I learnt this from a cleaner. Your mirrors and everything, if you've got one of these, you just get a flick of water, flick it on, and then you get no smears. And this works really well. These glass cloth cleaners work really well for these matte cupboards and doors, which is great. I only ever carry really one cleaner. It's either Co or this Basisto multi-purpose eucalyptus cleaner. And I try and get the smallest bottle possible of some sort of disinfectant cleaner, just for when you're having a rough time with your floors and things like that. Or you get something that smells gross. That's it. That's all that I carry for cleaning. Really, it's, you know, I've got to say, it's almost a little bit embarrassing when people come in. We just don't have stuff. So if you come this way, and we'll both have to squeeze in here, Aidan. Okay. Yes, you sit on the throne, love. You sit on the throne. You're sitting on the toilet. In the bathroom, this is literally what we take. There's a towel each and a hand towel.
With the nice Iknot towel holder?
Yes, Robyn from Iknot sent us these lovely loops that you put your hand towels on or whatever. We've got one for the tea towel as well. So we have one towel each and a hand towel. And then in our car, we actually have a beach towel each, because obviously if we're out in the tailgate without the van, if we're stopping at the beach or whatever, that's it. Oh, and there's a bath mat, like for stepping out on. That's it, one towel each, because we've got a washing machine. If we're desperate, you know, if we were desperate for a towel, we could pull out the bath towels, sorry, the swimming towels that are in the car, and we've got one set of towels in the tailgate camper. We have one set of sheets. We'll possibly for this trip put in one other pair of sheets, which could go between both. And that's it, because the reality is if we were sick or something happened, we've got a spare and then we can wash. Like, we don't need to be carrying 3 or 4 sets of everything, especially with the 2 of us. It's just crazy what you see that people shove into their caravans. And then it pretty much, I kid you not, this is us when we're traveling, not because we haven't not packed yet. This drawer is empty. We just use this drawer actually as our dirty clothes drawer, you know, until we can get somewhere where we want to do the washing. This drawer, this will actually come out. This was just a spare towel that we had last time. We didn't use it, so that's actually coming out. We've got a collapsible bucket that doubles as our washing basket, and pegs in there. Oh my god, these are my favourite pegs though, people. Hegs pegs. We're going to have a lot of links to put in, love. These are great because they've got this extra little clip on them, so you can have that clipped onto your towel with a pair of undies on it or whatever you want to do. So they're actually really good when you're inside your van and you're trying to get stuff dry. I've actually just pegged them onto a clothes hanger and then hung stuff on this little clip there. You know, when it's cold. Hopefully we won't be anywhere it's cold. And then down in here,
we're going near Victoria. Of course it'll be cold.
Yeah. Oh, love, you just gave it away where we're going.
But we don't actually have to go to Victoria.
Yes, we don't have to. And then down in that bottom drawer, we've got chemicals for the toilet and things like that. And then in here, there's my bath mat. Our stuff, which is currently in the bathroom that we need, will come into there, and that's it. So, you know, we just don't need to ever overpack, really.
What about our clothes hangers?
Oh, the clothes hangers. So we have got this lovely hanging area. So we don't have hanging space next to our bed. We chose, well, it was in the van anyway. We could have swapped it, but we just have shelves either side, because our daily wear really is just shelves. Because we are going away in the southern part of Australia at the moment, it's going to be cold. We probably are going to have a lot of jackets. And so we have got this hanging space, and we're trying out these hangers. They're not quite like in the motels where they're clipped on fully, but they've got this weird little clip here, so hopefully everything doesn't fly off. But the reality is you still have to put your jacket on and usually zip it up anyway, otherwise it's just going to come off. But hopefully they won't.
The hanger is not meant to fall off the rail.
Yes. Oh, and look what's in here. Did you know all this was still in here?
Yeah.
Oh, look. I forgot. Oh, we've got a bush tracker jacket, mate.
Yep.
A couple of whackers in the bush tracker. Yep. Don't know that we're their usual clientele. Oh, well, Aiden might be. I'm certainly not. No, I'm not that posh. I'm not posh, love. So, yeah, we've got those in there. So, yeah, really it's what I'm trying to say is just don't overpack. Most times you can wash or go to the op shop or whatever. And I guess we're both used to having rigs. You know, I had everything that I wanted or needed in the back of my Ford Ranger. And I still could fit most of my clothes and stuff into the back of a car. You know, for those of you that don't know, several years ago I sold my house and everything that I owned to head out on the road with my partner at the time in my caravan and my Ford Ranger. And when you go through something like that and you downsize your whole life into, well, then it was what I could fit in the caravan. Nothing went into storage. It was either sold or I gave it away or whatever. I will never ever go back to having just stuff for the sake of stuff. So for me, it's not a problem to get into the van and just have very little stuff. So if you see us out in the road and you want someone to come and declutter your van and you see us, then give me a hoy. Happy to come and help. I love doing that stuff. So anyhow, that's where we're at. Do we have anything else to show and tell now? I don't want to bore people. I'm sure some of you have seen some of this before, of course.
Did you want to show the saucepan set?
Oh, and sorry, yes. So that was what you were saying, Aidan. That's the this chopping board is amazing. Just get it. You can get them at Woolies or Big W or whatever, I think. And then Joseph. So this is we like it because it gives us another chopping space here. With the it's got this rubber on it and it sits directly on top of the induction cooker, but I love that it's got this little sloped section, so when I'm doing something and it's running everywhere, it's not running all over the bench. It could also be used as a cheese board or whatever, and that's the thing with caravanning, it's multi-use, multi-purpose use. So if you can find something that you can get 2 uses out of is the golden rule that everyone says. So this one you could definitely use it as a cheese board or something if you needed to. And then the other side is for meat. It's got the little sharp things, and once again all the juices run off into there. So we've really enjoyed using that on the short trip. And then this one, because as you can see our sink doesn't have a drainer. And to be honest, that doesn't bother us because we eat and prepare our food mostly outside when we can, when the weather's good. So quite often we will wash up and do stuff out there as well. But we found this we've got one of these inside the house. It's a draining board that just sits in there as well. And that flicks up to put your plates and things in. Once again, when there's only 1 or 2 of you, perfect. Not probably so much if you've got 3 kids in the bunks down the back. And I totally get that as well. So there's that. And then what did you say?
Saucepans.
Oh, yes. So down in here, we have got our saucepans. Now, as I said before, we've got induction cooktop here and we've got one outside the van. So we don't really know how we're going to go with electricity and power and all those things, particularly now that the weather's cooling off. But if you come along for the ride, we'll soon tell you. So we had to have induction saucepans, and this is the same saucepan set that we have inside the house for our induction cooking. And it's got the pan, I'm sure you've seen these before, and the lid clips on. And so obviously for storage, they all sit inside of each other much better that way. We've chosen to have the whole set in here to start with because we're not sure how we're going to go. But probably down the track we might not need all of those pieces. But when we got it on special, it was cheaper to buy the whole lot, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a whole set of...
A whole set.
3 saucepans, 2 frying pans, a mini wok with lids and handles.
Yeah, so the thing that we liked about it was you can literally take that off your stovetop, and then this is great for the van. I looked in here today and I said, Dayton, what are these in here? And he said, oh, that's the lids for the saucepan, which I actually hadn't even seen him unpack it, and so they've got the lids as well. So they could literally, actually that's really tight fitting, that can literally go, if you wanted to, into one of your containers in the fridge to save you carrying containers as well. So these are the things which really make a big difference. So that's the lids for those. So I was pretty happy with that. But as you can see, our van, so little in here. And as we get on...
The baskets are handy for filling space with nothing in them without adding too much weight.
Well, when we get on the road on this trip, as we've said, we'll be definitely using the van for the, as it's intended properly. So it's going to be very interesting to see what we have got or what we haven't got, what we need to add, what we can take out. And we'll definitely show you guys straight up, like, oh, this was useless carrying all these saucepans or doing this, because, less is best, I reckon. But apart from that, I think obviously we've got to pack our clothes yet and put food in and all of that, which we'll be doing. And we'll be heading off middle of next week. So hopefully next weekend we might have something to show you. We don't know actually where we're going yet, kind of.
Hopefully either next week or the week after. Yeah, either next week or the week after we'll get time to do an outside walk around of the van.
Oh yes, because have we done that yet?
No.
Oh.
Because we weren't able to get it out of the shed.
Yeah, that's right. So
yeah, that's the plan.
You're planning on, when we pull up somewhere nice, you'll take everyone around the outside, look at the outdoor kitchen and all of those things. So stay tuned for that, people. I'd forgotten actually that we hadn't done that, so that's my bad. But yes, it's been a bit difficult while it's in the shed. But no more in the shed now, is it?
No.
We've seen the light. We've seen the light, people. We've got a little light back in our lives. So yes, we're not actually sure of the route that we're taking. So where are we going and what are we doing? Well, for most of this year, we're spending time at our home base in the Flinders Ranges, which has been intentional. I'm actually doing some casual work here at the moment, and I do plan on talking to you about that as well when we're away, because I do get messages saying, how do you work it with work? Definitely not retired yet. And it's, working on the road or finding casual work is not difficult. I think people make it difficult for themselves. So I've had a couple of people message me asking, can I please have a chat about that? And I definitely will. I haven't forgotten. So when we pull up somewhere nice when we're away and we've got some time, I'll definitely have a chat with you about working on the road, how to go about it, what you need to do, and the do's and the don'ts from my perspective and what I've found over the last few years of travel. So yeah, we don't really like to travel with much of a plan, do we, Aidan?
No. And she didn't like the plan I suggested.
What plan was that?
That we could do the lap in May.
Oh, the lap, yeah. He's like, because we put the map up and he's like, we can do the lap. We just have to do 450 kilometres every day for the whole of May. And I mean, that would actually be quite fun because we've seen a lot of the places. But A, it would be pretty costly, and B,
someone wouldn't enjoy it.
That'd be hard, Jacker, because you know how much I like to stop and take photos. So what we are actually doing is we're getting in the van, we're heading across to, I'll say, New South Wales / Victoria, even though it's getting cold, because for those of you that also don't know, we do property sitting and house sitting. We are selective about where we go and what we do, but we've been asked to do a very nice house sit over in New South Wales / Victoria.
Albury-Wodonga area.
In Albury-Wodonga. And we're going across to meet the people and the furry friends, that we have to look after. So we're just turning that into a bit of a trip, but we've got quite a bit of time, so that's why we don't have to have a plan as such. And we'll go across and meet them, and obviously we'll be showing you that area later this year when we're there. So that's also going to be an upcoming video at some stage for you, is the property sitting and the caretaking, how we go about that, how we manage it, how we find it, do we charge for it, all of those things. So we have actually got some really exciting stuff coming up. It's just been a bit flat at the moment for us while we've been waiting to get this issue fixed with the RAM. So we're not quite there yet. We'll be away for the month of May, and then in June the RAM's going back for some more surgery. I'm working, but come July, August, we've definitely got some great travels planned. So we will definitely be seeing some red dirt, red sand, and putting the bushy through its paces. So that's kind of, we've got a lot going on between probably June, July and the end of the year. And hopefully you guys will come along with us as well. So as always, don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to come along for the ride. Drop us some comments. I'm hoping that you're checking out our shorts as well on YouTube. I love doing those. They're just so much fun. And it always amazes me what people actually want to watch on the shorts. But they say you've got about 3 to 5 seconds to engage people. And I'm always telling Aiden that it's the guys sitting on the toilet watching them. And it's just weird what is popular and what's not with those. So that's always a bit of fun. And also, if you didn't realise, on YouTube, on the channels, each channel has a community page. So when you go onto our YouTube channel and it's got the list across the top and it's got, I think it's got playlists, shorts.
No, it's home, videos, shorts, playlist, live, and then community page.
Not that Aiden's been looking, obviously.
I'm doing all the analysis and admin.
I know, you're a great admin person. And researcher. The community page is the very last tab. So if you have a look at that, when we start travelling, we will be updating that with more information about where we're staying, what we're doing, and I think you can put 5 photos at a time on there. For those of you that have been following my Vantasticaus Facebook page and Instagram page, you know that I do like to do blogging, the written word, blogging. And so I'm going to be doing a bit more of that on the community page on our YouTube channel. So then you can tie everything in together. You can watch, if you can be bothered, watch the video of where we're at. And then if you click on the community page, you'll get to see, you know, some photos, but also more information about that. Because my experience on Facebook and Instagram, doesn't matter what information you give, it's never enough for people. You'll get abused because you haven't given enough information. You'll get abused by others that you've given too much information because you're in a free camp or whatever. Whatever, people. What I'm saying is this will be a one-stop shop from our perspective of our travels. So you'll be able to jump on there, watch the video and go, oh, what was that camp that they were staying at? And hopefully, if we've got the time, we'll be able to put some information on the community page for you. And of course, some of you just like listening to my rambles, which always amazes me. So thank you. And thank you for the support with my blogging. I can't imagine not writing now. And the good thing for Aiden is when I'm writing, I'm not talking.
It's not always true.
Oh, he just does get his brain picked. What do you think about this line? What do you think? Where did we go there? So anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone. As I said, please hit subscribe.
Like, subscribe, comment.
Oh, sorry, I thought you hit off then.
No.
Like, subscribe, comment. That would be great. Thank you. Hang on a minute. I'll let Aiden say goodbye because I've just been talking way too much.
Goodbye. Thanks for joining us today.
Do you have anything to say about this weird selection of things we've shown people today, love?
No.
Yeah. Do you think people realise this is the way we roll now? There's like, literally we roll in a caravan. There's no like rhyme or reason with, you know, well, probably when I'm doing it.
If they've been watching us long enough, they'll know
there's what?
No rhyme or reason.
No rhyme or reason. Okay, thanks everyone. See you on the road.
Right.
Bye. You thought you'd got rid of me, everyone, but forgot to say these are the grub rugs that we got for the van steps. We went with grub rug because our steps were not a normal step size. So with those guys, you can actually get them made to measure, and they're not very expensive, we thought. I know I've had a few of you who have said just be careful with these, that when they're wet they can be quite slippery. So I guess that's a great thing about having the handle up here. And yes, we will definitely be careful with that. but it's certainly going to save getting a lot of mud and things into the van. So those guys actually, when I did a story, thanks to Grub Rug, they actually did offer our followers a discount
10%.
code. Yeah, 10% off I think it was. So I mean, Aidan thought it was a bit rude. We paid for ours. Everyone else gets 10% off. But anyway, this is the rig. So finally we'll get it out the shed. We've got, oh yeah, there's my washing too. We've got to get it out, get her dusted off. I said to Aidan, if that's all the dust from sitting out here, well, there's definitely going to be, the solar panels are going to need a little bit of a wash before we go. So we'll do that in the next few days, or actually Aidan will probably do it while I'm working, and then we'll see you all out in the road. Yeah, if everyone wants to see our washing as well. Bye.